It is our nature to tell stories and inform others of our life events. However, the way we communicate with others has changed drastically over time. Storytelling originated with visual stories such as cave drawings and then shifted to oral traditions in which stories were passed down from generation to generation by word of mouth. It is estimated that the Chauvet Cave in France has drawings that date back 30,000 years. These drawings detail animals such as deer and bison, as well as themes of survival, according to the Nature Index. Chauvet Cave drawings were not just the casual doodles, but rather art that displayed the talents of skilled craftsmen at the time. They reflected a universal language by which all could understand and appreciate the stories told with a stick, in mud, or in clay. Another common form of drawing used to communicate stories is the use of hieroglyphics in ancient Egypt. This form of writing utilized pictographic characters as symbols and sounds. The hieroglyphic language dates back to 5,000 years and is recognized as one of the world's earliest writing systems. Since we are visual individuals, drawings have always been an effective way to tell stories about survival and life. The transition from oral to written culture overlapped, but is predominantly accounted for in ancient Greece, where the earliest inscriptions date from 770 to 750 BC. Scholars suggest that the Iliad by Homer is the oldest surviving work in the Greek language that originated from oral tradition, according to the History of Information. This era also brought about the use of plays to tell stories. In Asia, there's a long tradition of shadow plays. This is a form of storytelling that uses paper puppets. It isn't very clear when shadow plays first came into existence. It's likely that some kind of shadow plays existed along prehistoric humans, but the first written proof of it dates back to 100 BC. In the Middle Ages, troubadours provided the illiterate population in the court with stories, often accompanied by some music. They traveled from land to land, gathering news and learning the most celebrated stories from various regions. The next great milestone in communications history is the introduction of the mass printing that would make news and other information more readily available to all. Printing helped increase literacy among people. Johannes Gutenberg is considered the inventor of the printing press in the 15th century. However, 600 years before Gutenberg, Chinese monks created a block printing mechanisms that set ink to paper using wooden blocks. William Shakespeare is often credited with having a profound influence on language, literature, theater, and other elements of culture. It would not be difficult to argue that we owe most of our modern storytelling characteristics to Shakespeare. Theater has never been the same since his play's first performances, and Shakespeare's influence can be noted in everything from contemporary dialogue to expectations of audience behavior. Finally, the Industrial Revolution brought us some storytelling machines that changed the way we make and perceive stories forever. With movies and radio, people could actually see or hear the story, which made it easier to process. After World War II came the golden age of television. Now people could enjoy watching stories at home. This was also a great opportunity for brands to tell their stories through commercials. Unfortunately, airtime was very expensive and only a limited number of brands could tell their stories on screen. Storytelling all changed with the introduction of the internet. From this point on, everyone could tell their stories in different ways using blog posts, YouTube videos, or websites. Creating content on the internet is an effective way to reach people from all over the world. Alternate reality games blur the border between reality and fiction. A story can be told now by using a different medium for each part. In this way, you can read the beginning of a story on a poster, see a second part on YouTube, and discuss the end on Facebook. You can even continue the adventure of your protagonist in a video game to make the experience more complete. Mobile devices also become a new technique for storytelling. With augmented reality storytelling, you can integrate the story into your real life to become a character yourself with location-based games. In location-based games, you can follow a story by walking through a city, for an example. Every place will give you more information about the game and the story behind it. So what will the future bring for our stories? Will we be able to break down the borders between fiction and reality? Will we become real characters interacting with our favorite superheroes? One thing is for sure, storytelling will always be there, no matter how much new technology changes it.